Okay, so I just got done working one of our young horses. He's not started yet. We're still in the very early stages. So I lunged him a little bit and I did some really basic work in hand with him. And so yeah, we thought we could talk a little bit about this not sweating the small stuff, as Shana calls it. It's when you start something with a young horse, they don't know anything yet. So of course nothing is going to be perfect. There'll be misunderstandings, there'll be mistakes, and so on. But you have to evaluate what's important right now, what's not important, what can wait until later. Because of course you can't get everything at once. You can't make everything look and feel perfect right away. So in these really super early stages, you just want the horse to learn that when you go, he goes. When you stop, he stops, and things like that. So first attempt, of course, he didn't go with me. Most horses don't realize that they're supposed to. You walk on, they stop, or they stay, at the halt, and then you touch him with the whip. And a couple of times, and he kicked at the whip because he found it irritating. I just touch and I vibrate a little bit. It's pretty light. I mean, it's not painful or anything. But some horses find that annoying at first, so they kick out. It's like, leave me alone, don't touch me, And but then, they understand after a few repetitions that they're just supposed to come with you, and then they understand, no big deal. I'm not picking on them, and so they accept the touch of the whip at that point because they understand it just means come with me, move, and. Initially, too, he was walking a little bit slowly, so not really making any contact with the reins yet. So I didn't touch the outside rein. I just held the inside rein a little loosely, and eventually, as he starts to go forward more, he comes into the contact, and he can take the outside rein. So we got to that stage in the session too, so I could take a bit of a feel on both reins, and then we did some walk-halt transitions, very simple, So he knows to stop when I stop, and I used little voice, both for the up transition as well as for the down transition. And then in the stiffer direction, of course, he leaned a little bit into me, and I got distracted by stuff going on around the arena. So when he looked to the outside, sometimes I let him look a little, sometimes then I asked him to pay attention to me. Once I stopped, and then I asked him to flex the pole a little bit towards me, so just basically to get his attention back on me. And when he was leaning into me with his shoulder, I moved away from the fence and did a couple of turns on the forehand in motion away from me, so we'd have to shift the weight away from me onto the other pair of legs, and yield a little bit, and move around me. So that basically just to show him some movement options and balancing options, and I did it in both directions. And then gradually you introduce them to these very basic movement patterns, and the more they become aware that they have two legs on the left, two legs on the right, and that all four legs are strong enough to support them, the less they will feel like they need to lean on you, and they are quicker than at moving the weight from one side to the other, and it's easier then for them to keep a distance and move around you, and instead of jumping into your lap, when they see something. So, and of course at that stage, I don't really care, where the head is, if he's on the bit or above the bit, or, so I let him choose the head and neck position, more or less. If he puts the head down too far and he really gets heavy, then of course I'll tell him that he needs to carry his own head instead of letting me carry it. But otherwise, I don't really care. All that develops later, right? So initially, it's really just teaching the horse, come with me, let's stop, let's go, stay next to me. And that's pretty much it, right? And everything else follows later. And whatever is not perfect at that stage is okay. We'll eventually get to it, and we'll take care of it in the future, coming weeks, months, years, and so on.